First of all, thank you and welcome everybody. I'm so happy to see the athletic department of King City Secondary so well represented. You know, people who believe in collaboration and celebration and teamwork are all here. Nice to see you all. I'm really pleased to be here to introduce Joe Jackman, and he's the CEO and founder of a company called Jackman Reinvents. And I think reinvention is kind of a theme, and we reflect when we think about how long it's been since we've been here, although I don't think we want to count the years. But it's no surprise that it's his moniker, because when I serendipitously ran into him 15 years ago after graduation, under some rather strange circumstances that brought us together, I can only describe it as I was shocked. Joe, my humble, wide-eyed, funny classmate and sometimes tennis opponent, who in 1978 seemed decidedly unclear as to what he was going to do in his future, was by 1990 an incredibly successful, worldly businessman. At the time of my reacquaintance, he was co-founder of a company called Perennial, where he was a creative director, designer, and retail guru. Who would have thought that my somewhat hippie, laid-back classmate would transform and reinvent himself into a dapper, thoughtful, poised entrepreneur? But that's the beauty of the case of distinction. It reintroduces us and surprises us at the transformation that so many of us make after we leave high school. Last year I was honored alongside Ivan Joseph, a struggling student whose talent was distinctly athletic and not academic, who defied all the odds, got his PhD, coached a U.S. college women's soccer team to a national championship, and then transformed Ryerson's athletic department. And Grant Ferris, a self-proclaimed mediocre geologist who is now a U of T professor and internationally renowned researcher in the field of geochemistry. And so when Tom Ellison asked if there was anyone I could think to nominate, Joe Jackman came to my mind straight away. Because Joe, over the past 15 years, has reinvented himself again, taking on the chief marketing officer positions for two colossal US brands in his past, Dwayne Reed, and The Gap. Today, he's a keynote speaker, a leader in business transformation. He's the founder and CEO of a dynamic consultancy working with international brands like Hertz, Canadian retailers like Sobeys, Loblaws, and Dave & Buster's. Just for a little fun. Just a fun. Yeah, the consultancy is aptly named Jackman Reinvents. And that's what he spent his life doing, reinventing himself, and now he's helping retailers reinvent themselves amidst a complex business disruptive world that's all around us. And so it's with my immense pride and great pleasure, I give you the 2015 Case of Distinction winner, Joe Jackman.
So someone, I think Tom said at the beginning that there'll be tears in eyes, and mine are filled. Thank you, Dorothy. That was amazing. So, thanks for this wonderful recognition. And what's really noteworthy is the degree to which past teachers and principals and vice principals are here. And when I came, I was curious about who would actually attend on a Saturday, and it's just so amazing to see the connection that lives. And I recognize many, many names and got a chance to say hello. So that is really a testament to you as people and to the school. So it means a great deal to me to be recognized. And I could not have imagined this moment when I was here as a student. And I think for those who knew me as faculty, you could not have imagined it either. And it's also meaningful to have the baton passed by Dorothy, because, you know, as she said, we met here a long time ago, about 35 years ago, and we find ourselves having traveled similar roads and working in similar industries and in similar ways, sort of the broad creative marketing industry. And I'm humbled to be joining an impressive list. Yesterday I came to spend some time with students, and it was really cool, I have to say, hanging out with teenagers. You know, it was just a really rewarding and challenging experience both. I have a couple of teenage daughters, and my son Niall is here in the audience, and you know, working with kids and understanding where they're coming from and so on. But I hadn't been in the school until yesterday, since the day I left, and the Case of Distinction wall, we were actually chatting, is the case something you actually get encased in? Is there going to be oxygen within it? I was happy to know that it's actually just the photograph that shows up. But that's amazing. Well done for those who got behind that. And it's not only an honor to be in it, but to just see the product of this incredible institution, and to know, there's doctors and researchers and filmmakers and all sorts of amazing people that came from this place. So very humbled to be joining this list, and Dorothy amongst them. Today, as she mentioned, I'm a reinventionist, and I lead an amazing team of management consultants and brand strategists and a whole group of creative people, designers, web designers, digital folks, store architects, and so on. And what we do is we help businesses get back to relevance. And relevance is a really fluid thing today, particularly as the world changing so fast. So, and in that, that gets them back to growth. So I'm really honored to be doing that kind of work. And I must say it's a lot of fun. Like, I really love it. But what is reinvention? As me and my team practice it, it's helping companies become the most relevant and powerful version of themselves. And that's how we think about it, in the least amount of time. Because time today is a luxury that we do not have any longer in the age of, as my son likes to play on this device, and we all sort of play and work on these as well. This has accelerated everything, and you know it in your lives. Throughout my career, I've reinvented myself many times, from industrial designer to creative director to a marketing leader. That was a crazy 2.5-year stint as an executive. I thought, how did I get here to be leading marketing for Loblaw companies, and then went on to lead some marketing activities in the US for some companies. But what I came to realize, reflecting on this morning, is the road there, or the road here, started in this place. I've had a lifelong passion for reinvention, personally and professionally, but KCSS was really the beginning of that road. And I say it's here at King because I was a kid with a curiosity about everything, but a focus on nothing. And I think you nailed it in your remarks. I'm thinking, what is she going to say? Like, I wasn't sort of the standout student. I would not be a paragon of academic achievement, certainly. But what I learned, as I experimented making things, I built furniture with my dad and trying things and seeing what I could learn. What I learned was this: being curious, learning from a variety of both work and life experiences, and mixing the lessons together to create new ways of thinking and doing was actually a great foundation for a career in the creative side and the strategic side of business. Who would have thought that? And because my career path was different, I began to stand out from others as someone who would solve business challenges in fresh new ways. And at some point I realized that not only did I really want to be the best at what I do, I wanted to be the only one who did what I did. And that's Jerry Garcia, you were probably too young, but he was a singer and a musician in the Grateful Dead. And he said, it's not enough to be the best of the best, you want to be the only ones who do what you do. And I think that really is the essence of brand, and it's the essence of, I think, of amazing careers. You bring something to it that's uniquely you, not just what you got taught or what you've learned to practice. So, and the expression, my job is what I do, not what I am. I saw that on a t-shirt the other day. For me, it's the opposite. It's not what I do, it's who I am. So if I have anything of value, and it's probably very limited, I would say, to students, and I said this to them yesterday, all these amazing young kids, including the ones at the front who are, you just have to suggest that you might ask a question, they're ready there with the question, and then the ones who are just going like, when is this going to be over, at the back. I was probably one of them. But, find your own path based on who you are, was really what I talked to them, and don't walk someone else's path, and continually reinvent. So that's not a one-time thing, it's a lifelong journey, and high school is the beginning of that. It's that time when you really truly find out, or at least to begin to find out who you are and what makes you special, and how to adapt. That as you and I, Dorothy, talked about it, high school is just this crash course in adaptation. Like, this is the way things are supposed to be, and this is how I'm supposed to be. I see the athletic teachers, I admired you guys so much. I was not athletic, as you probably don't remember for that reason, but I just remember thinking, wow, what a courageous thing to do, is to take kids from all manner of interests and athletic abilities and sort of take them to some place. And I got something out of that too. So the world, as I mentioned, is changing quickly, and reinvention is not only an advantageous thing to do, I believe, but a requirement. And I'll quote Winston Churchill. Yesterday I actually gave this quote as well, and I was wishing, do I have a Drake quote that I could use instead of Winston Churchill? Because they're probably going like, who the heck is he? But he said, to improve is to change, so to be perfect is to have changed often. And that's pretty cool. And today we need to really be able to adapt. The problem is in my work, and I work with lots of business leaders, as humans we really don't like change. And change is hard. Well, I would say too bad. Yes, change is hard, but I can tell you irrelevance is a lot harder. So if you're like me, I'll just conclude by saying you didn't have it all figured out in high school. Maybe some did. Dorothy and I said we didn't for sure, and it was like, okay, where are we going? I think you knew where you were headed a little bit more than I did, but I can trace the roots of where I am today and what I do today, and whatever modest success I've had right back here, because this is where I started this journey of personal discovery, of continuous reinvention in the way that it has caused me to think about how I work with companies today. And I think about these halls and walls, and it was yesterday that I returned, and it just brought back this flood of memories. And I will always be grateful for what happened here. So, my sister is a lawyer. She's a human rights lawyer, and she gets a lot of opportunity to speak. And I tease her because she's so accomplished. And every time she speaks, she's so passionate, she weeps. And I do the same, and it was our father. But anyway, thanks very much for that. Thank you again for this honor. What I would encourage you all to do is, in the interest of reinventing yourselves and continuing to do that, stay uncomfortable, because that's where learning and growth is. And thank you so much again.